Welcome to the Business of Show Business podcast with me, Jamie Body. On this podcast, I'm going to be chatting to industry experts and up-and-coming creatives as we unpack the side hustles, the stories, and the skills that make the entertainment and creative industries tick. So if you want to thrive and not just survive and build the career that you deserve, you're in the right place. Welcome back to the Business of Show Business with me, your host, Jamie Body. Today, I'm joined by a performer who's also a coach and a mental well-being advocate, Crystal Nicholls. Crystal has worked across the industry from stage and screen and had 6 years in the West End in The Lion King. She now works with performers to help them build healthy, sustainable and supported careers. She does that not only through her own coaching practice, but also by working with the fantastic organisation Dancers Career Development. In this episode, we'll be talking about the realities of being a performer, hopefully how we can start future-proofing the industry for young minds and the next generation, and all things the business of show business. Crystal, how's it going?
Oh, good. Thank you for having me. And thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Is it weird sometimes listening to what you've achieved? Because I think as performers, freelancers, we've literally saying off air, hustle, hustle, hustle. Yeah. Is it weird to be like, oh, I have to accept this now? I'm like, look how good you are.
It's very strange. And I think it's something that a lot of performers struggle with, but accepting, I don't want to say compliments. It wasn't like you were trying to flatter me, but there's definitely that weird, I don't want to accept positive affirmations about myself.
Yeah, well, and it's that whole that some people are like, don't share keep your cards close to your chest. And others are like, but if you don't voice it, how will someone know you want to do it? And I think it's that battle a lot of creatives have of being like, actually, I need to own what I'm actually good at because that will get me a job. But I also don't want to seem like I'm being a bit bullshit. But you're fabulous. So yes, thank you. So let's quickly rewind to a young Crystal. What got you into this weird and wonderful world of performing?
So I am originally from Barbados. So I think it was my sister, actually. My sister was the one who started dancing, and she's 5 years older than me and my twin. And I think we were picking her up one day. We were going with my mum to pick her up, and we just watched some of her class because we got there slightly early. And I think I just said to my mum, I want to do that. I want to do that. So she signed me and my twin sister up for dancing. And honestly, I just loved it from the beginning. I loved the creativity involved. I loved the discipline. I think I've always been a very disciplined, motivated, I don't know where it came from, child. And I think I loved that discipline and the motivation that was required to constantly show up, to constantly refine your craft, to do it over and over again. I don't want to say perfecting, but moving towards perfection, whatever that looks like, or your best. Let's say your best.
Yes. And I think, I know at Dancers Career Development, they're very big on those transferable skills, as am I in my workshop. So I think dedication is one of those skills that we maybe don't value because it's not ballet, tap or jazz or singing. But actually, that dedication is so important. Yeah,
because I think it's considered a so-called soft skill, right? Yeah. Being dedicated, being motivated, having I don't know, like working hard, like all those things are considered soft skills, but actually they're really important for your career. And they're really undervalued in our industry because so many of us have it. In order to make it, you have to be motivated, you have to work hard. So I think for us, when we actually perform professionally, we don't actually realize that it's such a valuable skill outside of the creative industry.
And I think one thing I would say is go and follow Crystal on social media because I love all the content you're putting out, and it aligns so perfectly as well with Dancers Career Development, which is where I met you. And we'll talk about that fantastic organisation shortly. But let's go Lion King, 6 years in the West End. First of all, what was it like receiving that phone call? And then what did it teach you? Because I think to keep that fresh and the challenges of being in any job like long term, how was that in The Lion King?
Oh, I mean, first of all, it was actually an email because I was working on a ship when I found out. I was out at the sea, and when I found out that I booked that job, I got an email from them saying, like, we're trying to get in contact with you.
And you're on the dodgy Wi-Fi on the cruise ship. I can't read this. Quick, download.
And when you start to panic, they're not going to get in contact. So I got a phone, those phone cards that you can get on the ship?
Cruise ship, yes. I think young dancers on cruise ships don't need to worry about this now. But back in the day on cruise ships, yes.
Yeah, I had to get one of those dodgy phone cards and I had to call this person. Luckily, he had his number, obviously, in his email signature. So I called him and I just explained, "Oh, it's me. I'm sorry that I'm calling you, but you can't call me because I'm working on a cruise ship." Yeah. And then he said, "That's okay. We're just trying to offer you a contract." Oh. And I was like, I really, at first, could not believe it. I actually thought it was a scam. I'm not going to lie.
You're like, send me all your money, and you're like sending it to Disney. Like, okay.
Honestly, I couldn't believe it, but obviously was incredibly grateful. And that's how I ended up in London. So when I got there, I quickly realized that I didn't know what I was doing. So just to give some context, I had started doing cruise ships immediately after graduating from after my BFA. So I started with cruise ships, and then I went into a West End contract. And I honestly, 8 shows a week is completely different to what I had to do on a cruise ship. Yeah. And I very quickly realized that I had no idea how to take care of my body. What I was doing was not sustainable. I had no idea how to fuel my body efficiently. Stress management, what was that? Who knows? I just didn't have any concept of how to sustainably do 8 shows a week. I went into this mindset of, well, I'm just going to work really hard and, do everything 100% full out with feeling from the very beginning. And when you're doing 8 shows a week, you cannot go full out with feeling 8 shows a week. You just cannot. It is not sustainable.
Not when you also add life on top of that as well. And tube strike, sickness, family issues, all of that. Yeah. And then trying to give you 100%. Yeah, that's hard to navigate.
And I had just moved to a whole different country.
Oh my gosh.
On an entire, a whole different continent. So on top of I got there, immediately had to start rehearsals. When I was in rehearsals, had to find a place to live, set up a bank account, all these different things on top of doing rehearsals and then going into 8 shows a week. Whew, yeah, it was a lot. I remember getting to my 8th show on the very first week of my contract. And I got to my 8th show and I went, I love the show. Obviously, this was like my dream. I love the show, but I got to the 8th show and I just went, ooh, panic. When you go panic. How am I actually going to maintain? I need to do it again and again and again for an entire year. And I remember having like a panic inside. I don't actually know if I can make it for the whole year. I mean, I did.
6 of them.
6 of them. Yes.
Gosh, so what are maybe some of the blind spots we don't see or performers won't see when they're, for instance, in that show? Because again, it's that shiny thing of the West End. Fantastic. But as you said, like there's a whole lot, and also evenings. So you've got to manage your energy through a day and then go and do potentially 2 shows. What are maybe some of the blind spots that performers don't see potentially? Is it maybe their mental approach, physical approach?
Ooh, okay. So nutrition was a big one for me. I just had no concept of how to actually fuel efficiently because I wasn't really taught how to do it. And I think a lot of times you end up not eating enough because it's not always intentional, right? It's just that you just have no concept of how much energy you actually need to do it. So I would get to the end of the week and I remember I would just feel really faint. Just like right? Yeah. Because I just thought I was eating enough, but now I know I wasn't. So I think that's a blind spot. Yeah. Just making sure that you are eating enough calories in the first place because it's 8 shows a week. So just making sure you have enough energy. I would say another blind spot is do not make the mistake of making the show your entire personality or your entire identity. So it's hard because you only have 1 day off. Yeah. And as you rightfully said, you're working evenings as well. So you're working in the most, for other people, the most sociable hours. You're working holidays, bank holidays, sometimes Christmas. Over the Christmas period, you have more shows. You're working on weekends. Yeah. So it is really easy to be in this bubble where the only people you know are the only people you talk to and the only people you socialize with are the people in the show. And I would advise that, yes, that's great, but I would say that is a blind spot because I think the more I intentionally, try to socialize with people outside of, though it's hard, outside of that show, the more it was better for my mental health.
Yes.
It gave me perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know what I mean? Because when you're in that bubble, it feels like all the problems are amplified. Because that's all you're talking about. That's all you're
It's
seeing.
an echo chamber, isn't it? And you're all going through similar things of auditions, or all your bodies ache, and it's actually like you need to almost be grounded in something else.
Something else.
Do you think then also we almost glamorize the hustle and the burnout of being a performer because it's almost a badge of honor to be busy, isn't it? When actually it's like you're not actually gonna be applauded for being busy and exhausted.
Oh, I have a lot to say. I don't know.
We don't have enough time.
I don't know if I have enough time. So I'll ask you this. So when you...
No one asked me a question on this. Okay.
Time to flip the script. When you see someone, a fellow performer, or maybe an ex-performer that you haven't seen in a long time, the first question they tend to ask you, what's the first question they'll ask you?
So it's like, like, what have you been up to, or what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yep.
What are you up to? What are you doing?
And you're just like, gut punch if you're like in a down period.
Yes, it's an expectation that you should always be seen to be doing something. You should always be seen to be booking a job or trying to book a job or networking. Yes. And even things like a simple press night, right? I'm going to go to this press night so that I can network. Everything becomes a networking opportunity. Everything becomes about being seen to be doing something or to be booking that next job. Or, you're expected to go to every single audition, even if it's something that you don't want to book.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Because how dare you turn down an audition or a chance to have a job? Like, how dare you not want to work in this amazing industry?
Yes, it's so true. I think one of the most toxic things about this industry is that you constantly have to be working, but also available. And you can't be both. You can't be like booked and blessed, as they say, but then also you can drop everything. But there is that cycle, isn't it? Of like, I should be so grateful to be here that I sacrifice everything.
Everything.
And it's finding that balance of, yes, you need that ambition, that want and drive to be in it, but also to be like, as you said, your whole personality is not the show. Yeah,
it's only one small part of your identity, but it's when you only have one day off, it's very, very, very easy to forget that it's a small part of your identity.
Are there any things now that you sit in this place, as a coach, but then also working with dancers' career development, are there any things you take from your performance career with you as a mindset yourself? Or do you see that as dancers' career development, which we'll unpack that nut momentarily, but you get a lot of dancers come through your door. So do you see a younger you in any of those people?
Very interesting. I do. I do, which is why it's good. So obviously as part of my role with Dancers Career Development, or DCD, as part of my role, I go into certain schools and introduce them to the work that we do. And, we do a lot of work around your skills that you have inherently, but also the skills that you've built as a dancer and values. And a lot of times I say to them, look, I know that you're rolling your eyes inwardly.
Yes.
I know. I have been here. I know you think this isn't important. I know that me talking to you about, really keeping up with your interests outside of performing and, not just being a hireable performer. Yeah. I know that me saying this it might fall on deaf ears now, but hopefully you just take, something with you so that later on it comes back and you remember, and hopefully, you're able to do something about that. So I do see a lot of myself in those dancers, and I have a lot of compassion because I know that I was the same way.
And it just goes to show that the industry, although it is evolving, and there are fantastic organisations like Dancers Career Development, Applause for Thought, other organisations that are championing the transferable skills, mental health, there still needs to be a long way if the same issues are from when we were performing. And it's the same when I go in and teach my marketing workshops. Mm-hmm. People are just like, I just want to do a wicked workshop, or I want to learn the routine from Dirty Dancing. I'm like, that's great. But if there's only 30 cast members and there's at least 45 in your year, even if they only cast exclusively from here, 15 of you are not going to be in that show. So how can you keep going? And we mentioned them a lot. Let's quickly jump on the Dancers Career Development bandwagon. If you don't know who they are, check them out. They are fantastic. They offer everything from like Evolve workshop days where you meet other dancers that are maybe wanting to transition out of dance or upskill. They offer retraining grants, which I was very fortunate to receive, to retrain as a journalist, mentoring, coaching. What do you do at Dancers Career Development? Because people may have received an email from you or potentially seen you at a Dancers Career Development event.
You might have.
She's always there.
I'm always there lurking. Not
Yeah.
lurking. Not creepy.
She's very welcoming. Do approach her.
Yes, do approach me. I am one of the relationship managers. It's myself and 2 others on this wonderful relationship management team. And what that means is that we support dancers, but we also run programs that support dancers. So I'm in charge of the education program. So that's why I do a lot of workshops in schools. And that's how I
Yes.
met you.
Yes.
Doing a lot of our wonderful workshops
Thank you
in
for
those
having me.
schools, of course. But I also work a lot with independent dancers or freelance dancers. So yes, we have that Evolve workshop coming up on March 23rd. So please come along to that one. So I have that Evolve workshop, and I support dancers through retraining grants as well. So if you are a dancer that is thinking of applying for a retraining grant, then you would just send an email to us, and then we would help you through that retraining grant process.
I think what's so important is just to know there's someone there, because I think as a dancer, your career sometimes is quite short, whether that's because you just don't want to do it anymore, physical injury, other life. So, but the thing I love about dance is I do think it's a gateway career, and it can open up so many doors with transferable skills. And I think the great thing about dance and career development, it's not dance or this. It's like you can retrain, help with funding to retrain as a choreographer, to be a physio,
artistic director,
lighting design. And then also on the flip side, you do get dancers that go on to be I think I've done dance and career development workshops sat alongside tree surgeons, sommeliers, personal trainers, so dancers who they've gone to work in fashion. They've really used those skills to thrive in other sectors, which is fantastic.
Yes, exactly. This is what we don't realize, that dance gives us so many skills that you can take those skills and you can use them to stay within the creative industries, or you can also, go beyond the creative industries. You're not limited to dance. And I think it's important to think about those skills and to nurture them. This is the important thing. Continue to nurture them, even when you book a contract, right? Continue to nurture those skills, because they will be helpful for you in the future.
Let's dissect some of those skills. So, and again, we've mentioned soft skills. So for some performers, they might be listening thinking, what's that? And those are those skills that I would say are equally as valuable. And it's your empathy, your timekeeping, problem solving. It's all those skills that you may naturally have or you have worked on, but you're not in a studio 8 hours a day. What are maybe some of the superpowers you think that dancers and actors have that maybe they don't realize they have, that can help them either thrive more in the arts or even outside of the arts?
Presentation skills is a big one. So I have met some people who work more in corporate.
Yes.
And I think that the just presentation skills in general, they would kill to have those, to just be able to stand up and to present something. I don't think dancers realize how valuable even that is outside of the creative industries as well. It's something that we have nurtured and built into our practice, and we take it for granted. We don't even realize that we have it. But you get on the stage and I bet you're shoulders back.
Yeah, it's so true. And when I first started working in social media, the amount of people that work in social media that are not social, they'd send me an email, sat there, and I'd be like, hey, you could have literally just had a quick conversation with me, which would have been a lot quicker than an email chain. Those presentation skills, again, that is a fantastic transferable skill. And what other skills do you think then the performers have?
Collaboration, right? Yes. Being able to work with people. You just mentioned that as a good example. Some people just don't have it. They don't know how to, do the small talk, which is really important for building community. Right? That's something that's really important. And for networking, I know networking gets a bad...
But it's essential though. Let's say networking is essential in
relationship
the industry.
Building.
Yes. And
and you're building relationships.
Yeah. And if we go back to even your story of being at sea and then getting The Lion King, that was the connection you had at the audition, and the ripple of that goes beyond just being in that room, and that your rapport, phoning up and being very genuine about it. That's building that's networking, that's building a rapport. That's a fruitful connection to have.
Yes, exactly. We have, so collaboration, relationship building and networking. What else do we have? So many.
I also think it's just that resilience as well. I think those no's mean that they don't necessarily hurt less, but you're able to kind of move forward faster maybe than someone else who's been rejected.
Yeah.
which I guess that has its other side issues and whatnot. And I guess you probably, as a coach as well, you'll probably now be able to see kind of the 360 of a performer than when you were purely in your like performer goggles.
Yes. Yeah, and resilience is a big one. And I think dancers are so hard on themselves. So you'll hear a lot of dancers saying, oh, well, I just need to be more resilient, which again, it comes from a lot of messaging around the industry as well. It's not the individual's fault that they feel this way. But, there's a lot of, I need to be more resilient. And people don't understand how resilient dancers are already.
Yeah.
Like they don't need more resilience. It's built into our training. It's built into what we need to go through in order to book a job. How many no's do you have to receive in order to have that one yes? So dancers are resilient. And that's a transferable skill because it's not something that a lot of people have. How many people can say that they have received, 100,000 no's?
Yes. Exactly.
To get that one yes.
Exactly. It's so true. And we don't value that. Because again, and you mentioned this quite a lot on your social media, which is fantastic, about how maybe the infrastructure of the industry does need to change because we are conditioned to believe certain things or we have to starve for our art and whatnot. So it is actually all of those no's make you so employable, and the fact that you'll be resourceful, you will problem solve, you will find gaps in the market outside of the industry.
Exactly. It's like creativity, problem solving, all those skills that are so invaluable and very important and transferable as well. If you went into the corporate world, they would eat that up.
Yeah. Exactly.
They would.
Let's talk about then some of those skills. And obviously at Dancers Career Development, you work again with dancers, some that stay in the sector and they upskill, some that completely move. Let's talk about maybe some of those business skills that dancers have that they don't realize they're using, because you're selling yourself every time you go into that audition. That is a transferable skill. Like, we are in sales as dancers, aren't we? We are selling our skills. So maybe, having now worked on the other side at Dancers Career Development, what are maybe some of those business skills you think performers should see the value of, or maybe think, actually, let's use that more?
Negotiation, I think, is something. I think within the industry, it feels difficult to negotiate because there's that power, the power structure. It feels like I just need to be grateful to get that job. But I think because of our personal skills and our ability to be able to connect with people, I actually think that dancers would make good negotiators in general. If they actually honed on it and embraced it and transferred it, they would be. Because what is negotiation, right? You're trying to connect with someone. Yeah. Like, you're building a relationship, you're building trust, and dancers have that. Sales, again, connection. Like, you're speaking to someone, you are collaborating with them, you want to get that win-win situation.
And those are all skills that are networking, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's that I think what you've said there is lovely, is that idea of connection and community is actually what networking is. Because it's, even if you did your own one-woman show that went to Edinburgh Fringe, you've got to speak to a lighting technician, a venue manager to open the door. You've got to speak to someone for marketing. You can't do it alone. And that's one thing I think which is great about Dancers Career Development, is that you don't feel alone. What I found really refreshing is going in a room with other dancers that were like, I've got other skills, or I've got enough, like, I want to try something else. And I was like, I'm not the only one. Like, I can voice this. It's safe. Because when you're going back to what you said earlier on about being in that bubble, everyone's talking about the same auditions. Everyone's talking about, that new show's come out, like, let's put that song in my rep. There's no escape. So actually, to meet other creatives that understand what you're going through, but also are like, hey, it's okay to feel like glum or to try something else. I think that's one thing that Dancers Career Development do so fantastically. Yeah,
that's a really good point, because when you're in that bubble, you don't want to be the one to voice, hey, I'm thinking about this other I'm thinking about this other career option, or I'm thinking about this other interest that I have, because you don't want to get shut down. And you also don't want to feel like you're not being a team player.
Yes.
Like, you're not grateful for this job.
And what I think, let's talk quickly about friendships and connection, because that sometimes also dwindles a bit when you slightly leave the creative sector, because you see everyone at auditions, you see them in rehearsals, and then when you start doing something else, your friendships, it's not malicious, you're just not at the audition, you don't grab a coffee after. That's one thing. I guess sometimes you can feel a little bit lonely sometimes, maybe, in the arts.
Yes. So when you're transitioning outside of, that's a really good point. But I think this goes back to when I talked about the importance of not just being in that bubble,
Yeah.
because I think then when you leave that bubble, then you're left with isolation. So you have nothing else. You spent your entire, 6 years in this one bubble. So then when you start to leave, then it naturally feel isolated. Whereas if you actually keep up your interests and hobbies. So for instance, right now I'm part of a book club.
Ooh,
Shout out to my Sandy book club. I'm part of my little town's book club.
I love that. Cute. Yeah.
But I have lots of friends from that book club. I'm part of a dog walking club.
Oh, okay.
So I have friends
Yeah.
from that dog walking club that I've become very close to.
Yeah.
And I consider them my community. I go to my local I mean, now I'm not dancing anymore. So I have more time and flexibility. Yeah. But I go to the library. I make friends at the library. I make sure that I do things that connect me with as many different groups of people as possible. I know it's not always possible. When you're doing 8 shows a week, you have one day off. But can you start investing in one interest at a time? Can you try a pottery class? I'm not saying you need to try pottery.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it's a
we're
good
not
way.
By ceramics, but yeah. No, but it's so true because I have friends who work in casting and quite often an actor will come into a room and they'll be like, oh, what have you been up to? Tell me about it. And they're like, they automatically think, I have to think, oh, what have I done that's in the industry? Oh, I've just done a short course. And they're like, okay, but like, we're just asking, like, how have you been? Like, because that's, if say you've just been backpacking across Europe, that's an amazing thing to be like, we know we can put you on a 10-month world tour and you'll be fine. Like, there's other things that make you valuable as a human in a show.
I'm glad that you said that because I think there's that misconception that I have in order to be seen as a serious, professional performer, I need to only be, eat, live, breathe the industry. Whereas actually that's a misconception because it's more interesting if you have other interests to bring into your performing. So the backpacking, right? That makes you more interesting. If you go into an audition and you tell them that you were backpacking, they're like, ooh, now you've connected in a different way.
Exactly.
Than if you had only been, I've done that one workshop and they're like, everyone has.
Yeah, literally. And that doesn't mean you're going to get closer to that goalpost by just the fact you've been seen there. So if we jump back to you in Lion King, getting towards the end of your contract, let's talk about the mindset then of transitioning from dance to something else. And if we could maybe approach that dual prong for you back then, what did you think? Because that's scary. But also maybe now as a coach and someone that works at dance career development, and maybe what, I don't want to say hacks, but maybe how should dancers approach the transition? So let's go back to how you did and that scariness, and then maybe any advice you'd give to someone who is thinking, I need to take a beat and get out the industry, whether that's only literally for a year or forever.
I think, I think I was forced out of the industry by COVID.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to say I was forced out.
But the world was like, hey, go retrain in cyber is what they said, isn't it? So
They did. But to be honest, before COVID, for the lockdowns, I had said, because I had given my notice to Lion King. I only had 6 weeks left of my contract.
Gosh.
I had booked other jobs.
Okay.
But I actually had said to my husband, I am going to do 2 more years of performing and then I'm going to do something else. So in my mind, I was already on my way out and I was transitioning out. So I had already been thinking about what can I do? And then obviously, the lockdown happened and I had 6 weeks left of my contract. And so naturally I just thought to myself, well, I was on my way out. So how can I start retraining so that I'm just better placed when I actually decide to leave the industry? And, long story short, I don't want to go too much into detail, but when I was at the end of my Lion King contract or close to the end, I was really struggling because I was tired.
No, I get that.
I'm just tired.
When your body knows that you're leaving, it's like, shut down. We can rest finally. Yeah.
So I had to really lean into health and well-being to get me through. And so I actually became a lot more interested in that. And I knew that I wanted to transition into a career that was based in sustainability, health, and well-being. Yeah. So I at least had that. Yeah. I had an inkling.
I love what you said there, positioning you, that better place. And I think positioning is such an overlooked topic by performers. Is their placement of their skills, placement of their resources. They just think, oh, I've trained in musical theatre, but I'm like, fabulous, you're versatile. However, what do you love doing? What are you really good at?
This
What
is
needs work? Who's hiring those skills? And we don't often sit back and do an audit. What am I good at? What's hiring those skills? What do I need to work on? Do I want to improve those? Yay or nay? Because that's an investment in time and money. So I love that you said there, how to be better placed in the industry.
Yes.
So that was you at the time. You were obviously, you had a focus, and then obviously COVID was like, if Crystal's not doing it, no one's doing Lion King. Close it. But now let's future pace. You not only as a coach, but you work with dancers career development. What are maybe some tips or advice or a lens you would maybe give a young or an older dancer to look through now that they do want to maybe transition? Is the first thing even just verbalizing it? Because again, you keep it inside for so long to be like, I love something else. Like, that's scary to then be like, oh, I do love something else.
Yes. And so I would say yes. So even voicing it, acknowledging it for yourself is really important. And also to normalize the feelings of guilt that are going to come with it. Because they will come. They will come because you hear all those voices of, oh, I'm not dedicated enough. I'm not disciplined enough. Okay, those voices are not from you. Okay, so you can acknowledge them, but don't allow them to stop you from actually taking action. So acknowledge that they're there. Acknowledge that, okay, there's an inkling, there's an interest. It does not mean that I'm less dedicated. Maybe it means that my priorities are shifting or my values are shifting or the way I want to live my life, the structure of my life. Those are things for me. When I was thinking of transitioning, I knew that I wanted my weekends. Yeah. I knew that I wanted to start a family. I have a 3-year-old now. So I just wanted to have my weekends, to have my evenings available to me, to have more time, to have more flexibility. So I would say to not just think about, not to just acknowledge that you have an interest, but to also think about how does it fit into your life and how do you want to structure your life is something I think is missing. How do you want your life to feel like?
I love that. Because
you know what I mean?
We don't design our lives where like someone who, again, I'm not this occupation, but say someone who wanted to be a lawyer or architect, there's probably a bit more of a blueprint in what you should do in the fact of a degree, be a young executive or junior and work your way up. There's probably there's a loose structure at least, but as a freelance creative, there's no structure. You could be in a show that closes, a show that you love, but it's only on tour. You might not get in the room for the show you love, or there's so many variables that we don't design our lives. I love what you said there. Like start to think, what is the life you actually want to live?
Design it. Actually think about how many days off would I love? So not just what I'm saying is I encourage you to not just think about the interests or the job that you would like to have, because sometimes it might not align. For instance, I know sometimes there are some dancers who think I want more stability, but then they'll go into something like, I don't know, being a freelance yoga instructor. So it doesn't actually match what you're saying that you want. So I would say think about how many days off would you like in an ideal world. You know, would you like your schedule to be flexible, or do you want to know every day that you're doing the same thing? You know, do you want to have evenings? Do you want to have early morning? Like, what is it that you want? And think about your interests as well. Think about what jobs you have been curious about. And then I would just say, take one small step at a time. Don't try to do everything all at once, because that feels very overwhelming. Can you have a conversation with someone? Like as simple as that. Oh, you know, if you think about, I've been interested in engineering. I don't know why I picked.
Yeah. You can still do it. Yeah.
So my sister's an engineer.
Okay.
But say you were interested in engineering, right? Then you might say, oh, I know that Crystal's sister's an engineer. She would hate that I'm saying this. I know Crystal's sister's an engineer. Maybe I'll reach out to her and see if I can have a conversation. Ask if it's okay for me to have just a casual chat. Maybe I can take her out for coffee. You know, maybe I can take her out for coffee and just have a casual chat if that's okay with her. Yeah,
no, I love that you said that, because I think, and it's something I always say, is that you might actually already know people in your network that will get you closer to your goals. We always think about, I want to be in this show or work with this director, but actually that's maybe steps you can get to, but actually you might know someone here that can then springboard you up there. So actually take a beat and be like, yes, do I know someone in that sector? Do I know someone on that agency? Do I know someone who's done the career transition? And I think ask. And that's one thing that's great about Dancers Career Development is that you do connect people as well. If someone reached out to you, you might be like, we have the perfect dancer that could mentor you, or we've got connections with that. I've got so many of your social media posts up because I just love what you say about this. I'm like, look how good you are. Look. No, but I just love everything that like, it's hard. Like, do you need to work harder, or is it the environment that doesn't work for you? There's so much amazing stuff that you say as a coach on your social media. And I know that runs parallel to the amazing work at Dancers Career Development. And the thing there is you got, I worked heavily when I was on my career transition, with Isabel, who's a coach, for instance. And she's an absolute dreamboat there. And that's the great thing about Dancers Career Development. I believe the majority of people have either come through the arts or like dance specifically.
Yeah.
Because Isabel's obviously a former like Matthew Bourne dancer, and then now she's a coach. You're a West End performer. You work there in their education program. And I think it's just so nice to get in a room with people that like you feel supported in, which is so, so lovely. I've got a few more questions before we do our quick fire round, and before I let you go. Did I not tell you about that? Surprise. Lock the door. She's in. She's in. Has your definition of success changed? Looking back to you as a performer, to you now as someone who works at Dancers Career Development and as a coach, has success changed? And maybe what is your acknowledgement of what success is?
That's a very good question.
We're going deep now.
It has definitely changed, because when I was younger, my definition of success was I'm going to be on Broadway or the West End, or it was very, very typical of what a younger performer would say. I would say if you go into any drama school and you ask them what success means to them, they would probably say something like to be in a West End show or to be in a major film or something like that. Whereas I think now I would say that what's my version of success? It sounds really, it sounds really, it's really silly. I mean, I want to have more work-life balance. I know that
it's
is
true though, because we don't have it. We don't have it.
Yes.
And we therefore then poo-poo it. And I personally, I'm not a fan of the term muggle job. People use it and you're allowed to use that. I personally not, having now worked in journalism and arts marketing, some people love their jobs and they love that they get a pension and paid holiday and like sick pay.
And some structure.
So some people hate their job. So I'm not saying, so I think, actually work-life balance, we should have that. Like we should have sick pay and things like that, but we don't. But so.
And I also want to be a good mother. I want to be a good wife. Like I want to be a good friend. Like these are all things, when I think about success and I think about my week, I go, okay, have I reached out to my friends? Have I checked in with my friends? Have I been patient with Leilani? Like, have I actually been connecting? For me, community is more important. And I see that as a version of success. Like, am I actually building community? And that for me is really important. And that's something that is one of my values. Yes, am I connecting? Am I doing my job? Am I supporting dancers and performers in the best way that I can? For me, those are my versions of success. Whereas before it was like, I want to be in a West End.
No, but what I think is great that you say like your values, and maybe, I think maybe as dancers or performers, we don't put worth in anything else apart from stage time, sadly. And it's actually knowing, what makes me happy? Like, am I doing that job just because I think I'm meant to do that job? Yeah,
unfortunately, we are trained in that way, which is why I'm very grateful for the education program and everything. But we are trained in that way. We are trained to focus solely. It is changing now, I will say, but a lot of times the focus is on the craft. The focus is on getting that agent, booking that job. You know, thankfully it is changing and schools are focusing more on well-being or those other skills that are needed to be a well-rounded human being. But I think in general, when we think about being successful professional performers, we think about honing the craft, booking that job. But we are trained in that way. So what I want to say is if that's your version of success, it's not your fault. That's how you were conditioned. And I would encourage you to find out for yourself what your version of success is. I've talked to so many performers who said to me initially, they'll say something like, oh, I want to be XYZ. And then when you actually dig deeper and unpack their values, they go, oh, wait, no, I really love nature. I want
like what is the why? Why do we want that?
You know, I mean, like, I really love being in nature. I want to do something along those lines. I want to do something where I can be more connected. I can be outside. It happens all the time. So I would encourage you to just unpack that for yourselves.
Yeah. And obviously, do check out Dancer Career Development. They offer so many resources. Just the website alone, I think, is a positive resource. But yeah, from whether it's their mentoring, their Evolve workshop days where you're in a room with other dancers and there's a coach, and you ask questions that are quite confronting to help you kind of fight, but in a good way, to like find your values and your why. So obviously, 100% check out Dancers Career Development, who I probably wouldn't be here necessarily without that funding and support to retrain as a journalist. What are 2 quick actionable tips to help with a dancer's well-being that you can quickly share that someone listening and watching could think, I need to do that today? Is there such thing?
Oh, okay. I have one. Okay. Eat consistently 2 to 3 hours. Every 2 to 3 hours is a tip that will save your life because energy. You need energy. Top it up. Top it up. Top it up. My second tip is. Courage is more important than confidence. So whenever you feel like you're waiting for confidence in order to act, have the courage to take the action. The confidence will follow.
Yes, I've been, particularly at the time of this filming, around these weeks, I've been trying to be very big on motion kills like doubt and it's like taking that action. So I love that. That's another sign that I need to do that.
Take the action. The confidence follows the action, not the other way around.
And also like, people only see what you show them. So they don't know your backstory and context. So if you are networking, if you're going to an audition, if you're pitching yourself, show them all the joy and the skills and how amazing you are.
Leverage those skills.
Yes. Right, quickly, before I go, we've got a lights, questions, action round. Well, I just ask some quick light questions and you have to answer them quick, okay?
Oh dear.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. What was the first show you ever saw?
The Lion King.
What was Circle of Life? Some may say. What was your first job in the industry?
Working on a cruise ship.
What has been your favourite job to date as a performer?
Cruise ships. My first contract specifically because I was in the Caribbean.
Yeah. What better than like you just on the cross trainer, looking over the beach on your day off, go for a swim. Love that. And we've basically kind of touched on it, but what advice would you give your younger self?
Get out and touch some grass. It's not just about the studio. Stop with the studio work. Just get out and touch some grass.
Natural light and air. A saver. Did you have any pre-show rituals? Any weirdness, kookiness?
I don't think I'm very boring. I just used to run through the show. Because I was very efficient.
What's harder for you, a long rehearsal day or being a mother?
Being a mother trumps all. It's very
Support
difficult.
there for those working creative parents. Ideal rest day, you both already answered this. Outdoor or sofa and snacks?
Outdoor.
Always touching that grass.
Always. I've learned to love it.
But what was the weirdest thing you've ever had to do in the creative arts industry, like a weird casting, audition?
I don't know if this is weird. I had to pretend that I was eating a burger on Zoom because I just felt weird because how do you pretend to eat?
Zoom's also like there.
Yes.
So like that's a close imaginary burger, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
or was there something about there's something to do with I had one. I had a foot thing. I had something to do with feet. I had something to do with feet and I had to film my feet up close.
Yeah.
And all I had to do was zoom in on my feet. That's all I will say.
This industry is weird. I said in another season that like I had an audition once where someone just threw mini butters at me and I had to just catch the butters. Super, super weird. Never saw what that advert was, but hey. What show would get you out of retirement if you got the phone call?
None.
No. You're like, delete. Don't want that email.
I'm just telling the truth.
No, you got to be true to yourself. My last question, you've just been on a podcast. So do you like to leave a podcast length voice note or just a text?
I prefer a text.
Okay.
I will reply to a voice note with a voice note. Oh no, it depends on who it is. I know this is mostly quick fire. I know there's mostly quick fire.
It's more telling who's listening to be like, she doesn't reply to my voice notes.
I know, I think that's why I was backtracking.
Like, edit this out, edit it out. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been amazing. Last thing to say is make sure, first of all, you check out Dancers Career Development. They are phenomenal. They're online, socials, website. You might see the lovely Crystal. And also make sure you leave a review or comment wherever you watch or listen to your podcasts.